YouTube, I'm back with another video. Today's video, I'm talking about Egregores. And what really stemmed the video was kind of the movie White Noise. White Noise, a mix of... I was seeing somebody talk about, gender roles and how, women have progressed now that, with the feminist movement, they are now... the breadwinners, and they're more than just, the stay-at-home mom. They had to progress and do more, while the men kind of just in the same position, right? We don't really know what to do without. But I feel like that was there's a lot of brainstorming in this video. I just feel like that comment was good, right? Like, yeah, women have progressed, but women have always been teachers. And I think even women forget that they are essentially the first teacher, right? I think that's just how it is in life. And I think and it's so funny that when you think about it, when you think about things the opposite way, right? Like the Bible is like, or one of the, I think in the Bible, right? It says that, or maybe the Quran, it says, women are not allowed to be, leaders or teachers or anything. And I think the reason why, and everybody likes to say, oh, well, it's because they're easily malleable and things like that. No, I think it's just because, probably because they would be really fucking good at it, and I think there's more power there. Who knows what a woman leader could do, right? Because men have to rule by fear, right? Like, I think I don't even know anymore at this point, like, when you think about it. And that's why I said, this is brought up by White Noise, because, in White Noise, the scene where, the evacuation happens and he goes to the tent or whatever, and it's like called like simul event or whatever, simulvent, like a simulated event. And he goes, what data are you typing in there? And he goes, is it simulated data or real data? And he's like, data. And he goes, simulated, like, real. And he goes, real data. So he's like, so is it going to give you simulated response or a real response? And he goes, it's a real response. He's like, so this is real? And he's like, and the guy just like doesn't answer. And it's like, and it's funny because it makes me think, like, and I love that they put that in there, because it's like, yeah, and this is that I'm talking about Egregores. This is why I'm talking about Egregores. Listen, I ramble, I have to talk in circles, but you have to let me get it all out so you can start to take the picture for you. I feel like if I didn't talk in circles, then you wouldn't get the bigger picture. And I think you have to talk in circles, paint the picture, and then you'll get the bigger thing. And on top of that, I don't think I can go straight away because I feel like I'll miss things. But what I'm saying is, we have simulated events, we have leaders, we have women, we have Egregores, and what does that all make? It makes a system where people, like, in a sense, like, what the fuck was that? That was really weird. Just watched like something fall from the tree, but that was like something really weird. What the fuck was that? Anyway, what I mean is, people aren't inclined to move. People aren't inclined to move. Has there ever been, and this is where it starts to make you really like question things, has there ever been any real movement ever? Right? Because, they say the feminist movement was started, MLK was backed by CIA. They say, Bin Laden, same thing, CIA. And it makes you think, like, what can we do? And this is why I say all the time, like, when you have predictive programming, right? Mass media that's been predicting something for 30 years, and people finally go, oh, look, it finally happened. Well, let's break down what happened right there. It was 30 years of people believing an idea, creating this egregore, which is a reality. An egregore is a reality, but it needs to be powered by people. So then we create it, and then it eventually happens. But what happens is, I think you can choose to align with it or choose not to align with it, right? And I feel like that's where if you have it, and honestly, I know there's like one of those like trends or whatever, but like people talking about they don't have like inner monologues. There's some people who just don't have any voices at all. But I feel like one of the biggest deterrents is like, do you have any moments when you're watching sports or when you're drinking or out and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, if you don't have those moments, that means that you're aligned with that reality. But if you do, that means you know something's off, right? But I just don't know if we'll ever be able to get out of this reality in a sense. I don't know. That's how I kind of made this video today. Just talk about the Egregores, just like, because like one thing I was thinking about is that like you have this, like, even like think about how easy it is to fall. And like this is why I say I break those down, because like, right, when we talk about Egregores, you're just like, man, they're always so big in scale, right? And that's why I kind of mentioned white noise, the women, movements, teaching, all sorts of things, gender roles, because you believe in gender roles, right? Like men believe that we have to provide, and it comes from, it's a feeling that it's not even, it's like out of body almost, the feeling, right? When you feel like you need to be, like as a man, you feel like you need to be doing, but you don't know where the feeling comes from. It's just there. It's just somewhere. It's like in you and out of you. But the reason why I want to say how easy it is to fall for Egregores, because people are like, when they hear this stuff, they're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, yes, you do. Let's just break it down easily. Let's even break down like a Disney movie. I can't think of anything right now, but let's just say that hometown hero archetype, right? Let's just break that down in any movie that's ever done that. What happens when he lets down? It's like, I was the hometown hero. Even though he never said it once throughout the movie, right? If he never or she never said it throughout the movie, but when they come to the point where they let down, they go, but I'm like the hometown, I'm supposed to, see how easy it is to fall into your own belief because it was so big around you that you fell into the belief, right? That's what I think the purpose of always pointing that out is. Even a small belief is such as like, I don't know, Brandon's always going to come through on this. It could be something simple, but guess what? In my head, I'm like, I always come through on that. Then the one time I don't come through, I'm going to be like, man, I always come through on that. I didn't do it. And then you're going to have like this whole, but it's not that deep. But that's the point. It's not that deep. Nothing in this life is that deep. I think it's just another way to get you trapped. Get you trapped in that like stuck in another reality. You know what I mean? Like that egregore in a sense. You're stuck in this other reality where, but I think you also create them yourself, because out of boredom, I think you can give yourself an existential crisis out of boredom. Because, this is not a negative thing, but like, I really sit back and I think, when you don't drink and smoke and you just raw dog on this life sober and shit, I'm gonna be honest, there's really nothing you can do. There's really nothing. And the thing is, the people who when you say that a lot of the life is boring, they get offended, but they also drink. They're like, life isn't boring. You just don't go out and you don't do, well, what are you doing when you go out? You drink to cover the boredom. Yes, I know. That's why, all studies, when people used to study like ancient tribes, or even now, they say that a lot of the time, I remember I just read the study, but it was like over 80, like it was like 80% of the time they just do nothing. There's nothing to do in these tribes in the woods. There's nothing. Imagine how much there really isn't to do if you were just in the woods, in the tribe, doing nothing. You'd be like, right, this is... Now imagine but this is the thing, they don't even have the thought, because they're so grounded in the reality that they don't even have the ability to give themselves an existential crisis or know what is more. They're just there. They're in that reality. They're just like, yeah, I'm just chilling, vibing. Yeah. I know it was a long rant, but I just wanted to get a video out just talking about, where we're at. This mass cognitive dissonance, because, life in itself is so boring that we have to create all these runarounds and all these beliefs and all these things to just, mask that truth. But the truth, and this is the thing, I don't even want to say life is so boring, actually. Let me double track. Let me back up. I'm not going to say life is so boring. I think the fact that there are things that we must do, and it may be boring to others, but it's just the reality of this life. I think this life, and this is what I meant to say. I definitely grown on my sentence of like, we have to learn lessons. I don't think we have to learn lessons, but I definitely think we're just meant to feel every bit of emotion. Who knows? This might be something we're putting ourselves through. It has to be, because at the end of the day, it's the end of the day. But I'm just rambling. It is what it is. I'm watching these birds like fight and shit. About to go tell them to knock it out before one of them gets hurt. Oh man. Yeah, just be thinking like, when you watch a good movie and you just see, and that's another thing, all these movies are such existentialist vibes and stuff, and it just makes you really wonder, like, what have people really done? You know what I mean? Like, do y'all not really think about, like, when you really research and you realize ain't nobody did nothing. Ain't no movement started by authentically. You just be like, what is that? So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that if you truly wanted to do something, you might have the power to. You actually might. I think like the reality can't like stop you. I think the people who are in control definitely will, like, obviously, get in the way, but I feel like, I don't know. Nowadays, I don't know, it's impossible. I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. I haven't made a video in a minute, and I just want to talk. But, and you just be thinking about, like, things like that. Because when you're, like, a revolutionary type person, and you're just like, yo, I want to make some change. But then you realize, like, what change would you even be making? Because at the end of the day, I don't want a community. I don't want people to talk to me. I don't want anybody to rely on me. Not in the sense of not responsibility. Like, yeah, I want to have kids and I want to have that responsibility. But I'm talking about, I don't want a bunch of people who are just going to think like me and talk like me, and we're going to create a community. I don't want a cult. So it makes you think, like, what is the hidden agenda for these movements and in the first place? That is a question. I don't know. White Noise was definitely good. I think White Noise was really good, That movie was really good. And I think it even talked about, like, and I think even the movie, I think one thing people didn't break down was kind of like how even the supermarket in itself is an egregore, right? The supermarket is the heaven, or the passing through the gates. It's like, as long as this supermarket is here, all of America is fine. And honestly, I feel like that is true, because honestly, now that I just said that, and I'm breaking it down in my head, it makes sense now why they always say, there's always the supply food chain. There's going back since I was a kid, there's always been a threat to the superstores, to the grocery stores. People would panic. If we got rid of grocery stores, the public would think The world would end. So what does that mean for America in a sense? Because other places don't have grocery stores. So what does that mean for their lives? Or are we saying America's already in hell or something like that? I don't know. I mean, according to Ross Ben, Philadelphia is the gates of hell. So maybe we're already here. I don't know. All right, I'll cut the video off. But, you know, definitely, I don't think I spoiled anything from White Noise. Definitely worth the movie. I know the mixed reviews. There's definitely a lot of mixed reviews, and I get it. But I think the movie, so a lot of people are just like, oh, it's just about, you know, life and consumerism and capitalism, and I'm like, you missed the bigger parts. There's a lot of deeper things going on in that movie, and I think a lot of people missed it. They didn't talk about the whole dialogue. They missed that. They definitely missed it. And, you know, and I think I might do my own White Noise review. I'm going to be honest, I'm about to start doing mukbang videos where I review movies. Just eating food, talking about movies I review. I think that's what I'm about to start doing. Because I love movies so much. And I'm not a critic. I gas up movies. I think I'd only talk about the movies I absolutely love. Or maybe I could trash movies. I don't know. All right. I'll talk to you guys.